Hello, everyone. Welcome back. My name is Elle with the Law of One Spiritual Advice podcast. Today, I'm going to read a quote from Ra from the Law of One, and then I'm going to make my comments on it. So, first of all, you can find this information at my website, theoneinfinitecreator.com. I have links to LL Research and the other websites where you can download all this stuff for free. If this is something that speaks to you, then please go seek it out because it's very valuable in my opinion. So today I'm going to read a quote from session 101.8, and this is going to be from Ra. And I have another quote later, but I'm going to read that later just to link it in with my thoughts on this. This is going to be generally about speaking the truth in a way that basically not admiring somebody so much to the point that you don't discriminate. In other words, you don't judge in a way that is helpful, because judging is helpful and discriminating is helpful. It's how we see, let's say, right from wrong, for example. But the idea is that we need to be real with certain people to the point of telling them the truth instead of just giving them fancy admiration and love constantly. All right, let's begin. This is Ra, beginning of quote. The entity which is given constant and unremitting approval by those surrounding it suffers from the loss of the mirroring effect of those which reflect truthfully rather than unquestioningly. This is not a suggestion to reinstate judgment, but merely a suggestion for all those supporting instruments, that is, support be harmonious, share in love, joy, and thanksgiving, but find love within truth. For each instrument benefits from this support more than the total admiration which overcomes discrimination. End of quote. Session 101.8. So as you see, as I say at the beginning here, there is a couple of sections that we can point out. The entity which is given constant and unremitting approval by those surrounding it suffers from the loss of the mirroring effect. So if you are around somebody, well, you can either put yourself in these shoes or you can think of somebody else, but let's say it's you, for example. You're sitting there and you're just people all around you just telling you how good, how awesome you are. You're so amazing. Wow, look at you. You're so perfect, which is true. But obviously we have faults and distortions, and to a degree we're not completely perfect, and that's why we're here, because we're here to learn lessons and grow and undistort our distorted beings. Learn to accept ourselves. So we do that by getting feedback from the outside world. In other words, the mirroring effect, where we look out at the world and the world mirrors back to us our biases and distortions, both literally and sort of like metaphorically in your mind, because what you seek out, you will find, in that your mind will see those things. But at the same time, I really do think that physically certain things are attracted to you based on your biases and what you expect to see. So let's continue on here. Those which reflect truthfully rather than unquestioningly. That's such a funny word, unquestioningly. So you would want to, reflect truthfully to somebody. Doesn't serve them to repeat the lie that they want to hear. However, we can't just tell them the truth as though it may be a harsh truth. This is where this part comes in, where they say this is not a suggestion to reinstate judgment. So in other words, don't just judge them for the sake of pointing fingers at them and belittling them, and then continue on, but merely a suggestion for all those supporting instruments, that this support be harmonious, share in love, joy, and thanksgiving, but find love within truth. So make sure you are being harmonious in your interaction with the other person. Come from a compassionate stance. Be honest. Be caring. Just show care. Show care. If you can show care that this is coming from a good intentioned place within you, it's going to way more likely be received by the other person in a way better manner. And so this is why they're pointing out it's very important to share in this support be harmonious, share in love, joy, thanksgiving, but find love within truth. For each instrument benefits from this support more than from the total admiration which overcomes discrimination. Meaning, once again, you admire somebody so much to the point that you just lay down your thoughts of discrimination. Discrimination is such a funny word because it's linked to other bad words, clearly, but that's not what they mean by discriminating. It just means to judge something, to use your mind. Now, this brings up the other quote which came to my mind when I read this, which is from an earlier session from 48.10, which is what I've already talked about, but I just want to elaborate on the importance of it. So this is basically, this first quote that I just read you, if you are like me and you're sort of wisdom oriented and you're not the best in the heart, you might think this is a free pass to go talk a bunch of crap to whoever you want and tell your truth to them, which is somewhat saying that, but at the same time you're going to get the mirror back of other people's reaction to that, and secondly, if you're not doing it from a compassionate stance, then you might be actually creating more distortion and disarrangement. So what I would like to point out, which I already have, but this quote is going to link that, is that if you think of the chakras, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, red, orange, and yellow are the main bottom three, which deal with sort of everyday living, if you will. The heart chakra is the compassion, love, and understanding, and the blue chakra is the throat chakra, which is where you move the energy up into speaking the truth. Obviously your throat, right? You speak, you manifest from this area, the previous energies coming through your previous chakras. Now, what will happen with some people is they'll neglect to use the heart. So they'll have their first three chakras going hard, which is your everyday earth chakras, if you will, your first 3D ones that you operate in the world with. And then they'll think, yeah, I'm going to jump up to my throat and start, telling the truth, which is appropriate. But if you lack the previous chakra and you neglect it, you're going to be delivering truths which may come off very harsh and unwelcome because they haven't been softened with compassion from the preceding heart chakra. So I'm going to read this quote. 48.10 is the session that it's from, and this is also raw. So they say, there are adepts who have penetrated many of the energy centers and several of the true colors. This must be done with utmost care while in the physical body, for as we have noted when speaking of the dangers of linking red, orange, yellow circuitry with true color blue circuitry, the potential for disarrangement of the mind-body-spirit complex is great. End of quote. These two quotes have been with me for a long time, and it's funny because they kind of compete with each other in a sense. One tells you to speak the truth and reminds you of the love, and this other one basically points out very clearly that you better be careful, make sure that you aren't just linking up your bottom three chakras, neglecting the heart, and linking it straight with the throat chakra where you're going out manifesting truth that is void of love, because in my opinion what you're doing there is you're manifesting, the throat chakra is supposed to be wisdom, but that is no wisdom if it doesn't come from a place of love and compassion and understanding that you love this other individual unconditionally, because that's the energy of the heart chakra. So to read this last quote over again, just to go over it, many adepts who have penetrated many of the energy centers and several of the true colors, and with us being in 3D, we are going to have the first three very basically balanced, generally speaking, and then any chakra above that is going to take a bit of work. So then they continue on, this must be done with the utmost care while in the physical body, for as we have noted when speaking of the dangers of linking red, orange, yellow circuitry with true color blue, so this is exactly what I'm saying, linking the bottom three with the throat chakra with the blue circuitry, the potential for disarrangement of the mind-body-spirit complex is great. And how you interpret disarrangement of the mind-body-spirit complex is kind of up to you. The way I saw it was more like, I suppose I've done this, so if I go out into the world and I try to speak truth and I am neglecting the use of my heart, what will happen is that you'll get kickback from others in a way that is not welcome, but you'll also be creating disharmony probably in other places in your life, and in friendship, relationships, in family, in work. All of these things is going to cause disarrangement. and the kickback that you're going to receive from doing things without the use of your heart will come back on you, as all things do, because we are one, and the things that you do to others, you essentially are doing to yourself. So if you would like to do well for yourself, you should always keep in mind that the heart is important. You should love yourself, which means that you should also love each other and love other people. And when you are interacting with them, you come from a place of love. And if you do that, then there's not really much wrong that you can do. Obviously, things may not turn out physically always perfectly, but if your intentions are well to use your heart with unconditional love, and you bring that energy up into your throat and wisen it up, and then speak that truth, I would say generally you're going to be in a decent place, and you'll probably be fairly balanced. Just not doing one without the other is what the basic warning is of these. And I don't think I have much else to say on that, other than just to wrap up. Speak the truth with love. Do your best. And I think don't be afraid to speak your truth. There's a lot of people that think it's too difficult to tell people the truth, and it may be, and that's probably a reflection of yourself, in that you might be neglecting to tell yourself the truth about certain things and not dealing with things that you know to be true, and so you have trouble communicating that to others in the same respect, which is totally fair, because realistically you shouldn't be giving advice where you haven't done the work yourself. It's some law of responsibility, I believe they call it. So as you seek to teach, you should be demonstrating that as well. And so I hope that I do demonstrate that in my waking everyday life, other than just what you guys see here on the internet version of me. I do try to do my best, but definitely if you knew me in person, I seem to make a lot of mistakes, and I'm not perfect. And you can know all the spiritual philosophy in the world, but if you suck at using your heart, it's going to be a tough path out there for you. So I think that's it. Thank you so much, everybody. I hope you enjoyed listening. Please give me a like, a share, a subscribe. If you find this helpful, you can visit my website, theoneinfinitecreator.com, and I have a couple of links if you wanted to join my Patreon or just shoot me a donation. If not, it doesn't really matter. I still love you all the same. Freely give, freely receive. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Love you so much. Have a great day.